On the show today, the International Monetary Fund says global financial vulnerabilities continue to build up. Zimbabwe reaches agreement with IMF on economic reform program. Plus, IMF cuts Tanzania's economic growth forecast to 4% this year. Hello and welcome. This is Business Incorporated coming to you live from our Lagos studios here in Nigeria. I'm Chimezie Obi Uwago. Well, we'll start off with the markets and beginning with markets in Africa, which were mixed at intraday. The JSE index in South Africa was down the most at 0.50%. Meanwhile, the NSC index was up 0.35%, and the EGX 30 in Egypt was up 0.22%. Kenya closed negative on Wednesday. In the Middle East, Saudi Arabia's stock market inched up today, partly helped by petrochemical firm National Industrialization Corporation, while Dubai was driven lower by its top bank. Saudi Arabia's index inched up 0.06%, with Tasni climbing 5.3% to its highest since August 2018. The Dubai index slid 0.63%, with Emirates MBD shedding 1.7% and Mashreq Bank declining 6.8%. The Abu Dhabi index was down 0.11%, while Qatar stock market added 0.22%, with Qatar Islamic Bank rising 3.1%. In Europe, stocks were mixed in the morning after EU leaders agreed to delay Brexit for up to 6 months. Also, all eyes are in Washington, D.C., where the IMF and World Bank are holding their spring meeting. Let's talk to Conrad for more coming from the European space. Hello, Conrad. A very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to me. Great to be back on Channels TV.
Right. Well, Brexit has been delayed for 6 months. How is the markets reacting to this? Is there any sigh of relief from market streets?
Well, there is a sigh of relief on the markets. Of course, it's good news that, we are not going to see a hard Brexit happening tomorrow, Friday. But of course, also this delay means that no one really has clarity about what to expect during the next 6 months. Are we going to end up in a customs union with the United Kingdom? Is there going to be another referendum in the United Kingdom? How are the United Kingdom and the European Union going to handle the European parliamentary elections at the end of May, where the Brits will now going to have to take part, something they say they don't want to do, but, well, in order to have a legal procedure, it has to happen. Market people and financial decision makers, of course, who look on those next 6 months, find it very difficult to, make long-term and real investment decisions, and also investment decisions, business investment decisions by businesses will likely to be delayed further. And for the economy, that is not really a positive outlook. Stockpiling, as it has happened already in the United Kingdom in the run-up to today, is likely to continue. It's also predicted today that house prices, especially in the southwest of the UK, are likely to continue to fall. All this not really excellent for sentiment.
Well, the spring meeting of the IMF and the World Bank has started in Washington, which means global multilateralism guests in Donald Trump's capital, the man who stands for America First. What signals will the IMF and the World Bank be sending, and is the U.S. president likely to listen?
Well, remember how this week the IMF said that the global economy was in a very delicate moment. Now, the position that the IMF has and also the World Bank at this meeting in Washington is very delicate as well. Of course, the IMF will want to remind everyone that their idea of a multilateral approach to global problem solving is the right approach. Also, recently, the IMF has criticized Donald Trump and the way how he communicates about the Federal Reserve and how he tells everyone and the Federal Reserve that it wants the Fed to lower interest rates. The IMF says that this is not a good idea. It's not a good idea of seeing a politician, a president, bashing the independent monetary policy makers, it's not very likely that Donald Trump is going to listen to all those warnings. He and his administration have shown that they really like the unilateral approach, a one-on-one approach to problem solving, a deal-making approach to problem solving. Let me give you one more example. We've been getting reports today that in those trade negotiations between the US and China, the two sides have agreed to establish trade deal enforcement offices, and there's no talk about the WTO, the World Trade Organization, which would be the perfect place to, supervise such trade deals and to make sure they are enforced. But the Americans are not interested in having the WTO, the World Trade Organization, involved in those negotiations with the Chinese.
Looks like a one-man business thing. Anyway, let's talk some corporate news there. How much of this corporate talks between Deutsche Börse, where you're standing, and Refinitiv, how much of it do we know regarding the purchase of some foreign exchange business? And do you think it will be a game changer for the bourse?
I think it's too early to call this a game changer because we don't know a lot about the details. Deutsche Börse is not letting out a lot. It just says that the purchase price that's been rumored, 3.5 billion euros for this takeover of Refinitiv, that was all speculation. Also the speculation about an imminent signing of binding deals. But we should also take into consideration that already another merger was talked about this week and confirmed. Deutsche Börse is taking over Axioma, which is a United States-based risk and portfolio analytics provider. And, all those stories combined indicate that Deutsche Börse is really in the process of changing its game. Classical equity trading and clearing will become less important in the future because you can have it with other competitors cheaper, and at least you can have it as well. But more, service providers in terms of data, of information, and also trading services in all kinds of assets. That's something that Deutsche Börse will be focusing on in the future. And a trader I talked to here told me that those merger rumors and those merger reports will not be the last ones in terms of Deutsche Börse that we are going to hear about and that we are going to talk about.
Right, Conrad. Well, earnings season is kicking off. Let's keep a tab on some of those earnings that will probably be coming in anytime soon. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the day.